All right, check this out. Stop listening to the whey protein peddlers. Yes, that's a good protein. But collagen is also good. It's not worthless. In fact, it's superior to other proteins for joint, skin, hair, nails, and for the gut. Now, of course, if you eat a ton of protein every single day, like a gram of protein per pound of body weight, it really doesn't matter where you get your protein from, plant, collagen, whey, doesn't make a big difference. But if you're like 99% of the people watching this, you're probably gonna miss those targets sometimes, in which case the protein does matter. And collagen is special. So how do you pick the right collagen? Well, check this out. The best collagen proteins tend to have a combination of different types of collagen. Bovine, which is beef, chicken, eggshell, and fish. A good combination of all those will give you type 1, 2, 3, all the way up to type 10 collagen peptides, which all have benefits for the body. Again, including the skin, hair, nails, gut, and connective tissue. So collagen protein, it's actually pretty good. So I love talking about this because there's like this, collagen is everything, collagen is nothing. Like, actually it's somewhere in the middle. It's not nothing, it's not everything, but it does have value.
They used to throw it away.
Yeah. Collagen protein?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they throw away the skin and the...
That you used to get... I mean,
they used to throw away whey too, though.
I think... Did they throw away whey back in the days?
They used to throw whey protein away as well.
Oh, interesting.
That's right. They used to toss it.
I didn't know that. So what were you going after if you tossed away?
Casein. You wanted the thick, you know.
Oh, wow. You just go after casein, you throw away the whey?
Yeah, the excess, they would toss it.
I mean, that's how collagen was forever. It was the excess, right?
Yeah.
So tell me do you know the timeline of all that? Like, was it like originally they were going after casein, they threw away all whey and then collagen, and then eventually they found out how good whey was?
Whey became popular in the 90s, and the first whey protein.
Joe Weider stuff, right?
No? Nope. Weider proteins were not whey. They were just milk-based or egg-based.
Okay.
Designer protein, I think, was the first one.
Designer whey?
I think that was the first one.
I've told you guys my designer whey stories, right?
No.
Yes. Remember I used to work in a factory?
You were mad that it wasn't Louis Vuitton because you saw designer?
No. Okay. Stupid. This is way when I was way younger.
Bougie Adam?
This is long before all that. I'm like, let's see here.
Gucci whey.
14, 15 years old. Okay. So it's a little while ago.
Yeah.
Working in a factory. Oh, like an assembly line. Remember I've told you like the hopper stories?
Yeah, where you hit the button
and fall asleep, like waiting for the hopper, and then I'll get up and I have to like knock the powder down or whatever. Designer Whey was one of the companies that we used to have. So this is just a mixing company. We mixed Nestle chocolate. We did.
So companies would hire you to mix stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So like you have these big, and what happens is huge trucks bring these massive, like 2-ton bags of powder, and then you get all their stuff, and they pay minimum wage people like me to filter it all into the assembly line stuff. So I did that in high school when I was 14, 15 years old. And Designer Whey, this is before I'm even working out. So I'm not even working out at this time. So this is before working out years.
You didn't do a little skim off the top?
Not till later. I still worked there through high school. So when I did get into working out, we used to mix creatine and we used to mix Designer Whey, and absolutely we would all,
this fell on the floor.
Borrow what fell on the floor.
So I remember you telling the story now. You were saying how inaccurate they were.
Yes.
They would pour it in.
That was the point of me bringing this up, because it was just like, there's no regulation. I mean, you just put a bunch of powder in there, and sometimes the other stuff gets mixed with other stuff. And
no!
Yeah, it's not like,
oh, it's hilarious.
Yeah, you got a bunch of teenage kids and
you
people,
got Nestle Quick in your way.
Yeah. So
that sucks.
So when later on, when I learned about the supplement industry, I was right away I was skeptical early on, because I played a role in like putting that stuff together.
So Designer was the first one to really crush, and I think it was Designer was Dan Duquesne and Bill Phillips. I think they were the ones that put it out. Maybe Doug, you could look up.
They're still around, you know that, right? That's still a popular
Designer. Oh yeah. Not Dan. Dan's passed away, and Bill Phillips did.
So they sold it off.
I believe so. Dan, look up. Who founded Designer Protein, or you can look up Dan Duquesne Designer Protein, because I know Dan Duquesne also did Ultimate Orange. That was the first pre-workout, right? It was ephedra, caffeine powder or whatever. And then Designer, and one of the reasons why it was so brilliant was two reasons. One, whey is a great protein, easy to mix, doesn't clump, it's good, it's high quality protein, but also because it was cheap, but they charged a lot for it because companies would throw it away. So a lot of people don't know that. And then it became this huge market. But Designer was the first.
Gotta imagine the margins back then.
Huge, bro. Do you know how much? Okay,
you crushed.
Like early mid 90s, a small, like, the tube canisters that had like 16 servings in there, right? Was like $30, $40.
Yeah.
You can get that now for like $10
Yeah,
with
yeah.
whey protein.
According
What's
to
it
this
say?
is David Jenkins.
Oh, well, I guess I was hella wrong. Maybe they were selling it.
Jenkins.
Maybe.
I don't know. Anyway.
This was back in
Sal just name dropping.
1993.
Okay, so at least I was right about something. It was the early mid-90s.
Well, they started in 1988. That's when they started
So
formulating.
it would be about 96 when I was in the factory doing that stuff.
Yeah.
So 4 years.
So
after they'd been-
collagen was a protein that was used a lot in the ready-to-drink bottles that we would have behind the front desk at the gym.
Oh, really?
Okay. So do you remember all those like Blue Thunder
Of course.
and like, Amino
They used
5000?
collagen in that.
They used collagen because collagen was cheap. Because exactly what you said. They used to
I
throw it
only
away.
remember it being marketed to women for the most part, like collagen.
That's later.
No, that was later, bro.
on.
That was later. Yeah, as the science started to come out, they found out that it was
Correct.
good for nails, hair, skin,
Yeah,
and then
and
it
then there
became
was this
a
whole-
woman's product.
Yeah, this whole kind of campaign, like the bro sort of campaign, sliding like crunchy hippies for using
Yes.
collagen.
So collagen, it used to be like Blue Thunder, Amino 5000.
I remember all those, and I did not know it was collagen.
I used to drink all of them.
Now, okay, was
And they
part
all
of the,
made me sick.
was part of the reason why they did that was because it
was cheap.
cheap and no flavor too, right?
Cheap, easy to
Collagen,
flavor.
the one positive thing I like about collagen is it's
Flavorless.
It's flavorless.
Yeah, you can add it to anything.
So it's nice to mix it in with something else.
Right. So, and then I remember figuring out it was collagen because then designer protein comes out, designer whey, which was again one of the first whey. And then they did a marketing campaign. You guys got to remember, I was so nerded out about supplements back then, even more than I am now, that I literally remember all this stuff. So this is all hilarious that I'm even remembering it now. But there were ad campaigns talking about how crappy the protein was in those bottles. And what it used to say is, lips and assholes. That's what he used to say. Remember how you say hot dogs are made out of lips, like cow, cow lips and assholes? Okay.
Yeah, right.
They would say, oh, it's all the skin and stuff that they throw away, pig stuff. This is literally what the ad said, talking crap about collagen protein. So I, as a kid, was like, oh, it's garbage. I'm never going to have that again. It's hoof protein. It's bones. And then what they would say again, lips and buttholes, right? So smart marketing. So then I went to whey or whatever. Anyway, later on, science came out showing, oh, wow, collagen protein's got some value. It's great for skin, hair, nails, connective tissue. By the way, for the guys watching right now who could care less about their skin, hair, and nails, if something's good for skin, hair, and nails, it's good for connective tissue. It's good for your joints, okay? Why do you want strong connective tissue and healthy joints? Well, if you want to be strong, you got to have those things. Powerlifters, for example, have some of the strongest connective tissue on earth in comparison to their muscle strength. So this is one of the reasons why they're so strong.
It's 2023. I think guys like hair, skin, and nails too now.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's
it's
probably
not
true.
the 80s anymore.
No.
Yeah.
So here's why
Unless
I'm
you
saying.
have like a Justin. Like
I roll.
Yeah, I know. So anyway, so then collagen started to become a popular, and then of course the counter advertising about it not being high in branched amino acids and this and that. But the truth is they all have value. And again, here's the little asterisk. If you have a ton of protein in your diet, it really doesn't matter where you get your protein from. You're getting enough of all the amino acids. But if your protein falls short of that, like everybody, then these proteins matter. So supplementing with them can make a big difference. Now, here's why I'm bringing this up. New product from Organifi.
Okay, so I was just going to ask you, because I did see that in the back about the Organifi. Non-vegan.
Non-vegan.
I didn't know they had any non-vegan
So what they
products.
did, check out what they did. Now, Organifi always goes above the mark, man. They really do. It's got a combination of bovine peptides, eggshell peptides, fish peptides, and chicken peptides. So you got type 1, type 2, type 3, I think type 10 collagen peptides. All of them have different benefits, so it's a blend. And it's very thin and flavorless. It's like a flavorless powder. I could put it into whatever I want and drink it. So I'd had it the past few days.
So you know what I'll do sometimes, and we didn't have obviously Organifi's back then. In fact, I used to get it when we used to work with that smoothie company because they used to send those collagen packets by themselves. Is I can actually add that to like my whey shake and boost the protein intake on it without like if I do 2 scoops of whey, I've told you before that
Start to get a little gastric.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it does upset a little bit, but what I can do to boost the shake up even higher in protein without getting that feeling is by adding that with it. So I've done that and it's flavorless, so it doesn't mess with whatever you were doing with the whey. Anyways, that's cool.
Yeah, so I just saw it in the back. I'm like, what? And then I looked at it to see what they did, and it's flavorless, so there's no flavoring in it. So it's very, very, and I like that. I like very bare bones. No pun intended. And it's got those blends of those different collagen proteins. So Organifi crushed it. They crushed it with this one.
I wonder how that'll do. We'll see how it does, huh?
Interesting. Yeah, they went away from the vegan sources. But I mean, obviously, this is probably more along the lines of like stuff that's like easily digestible still. Like,
so this all collagen proteins are the easiest digesting proteins you'll ever have in your entire life.
Yeah.
Like I could drink them like water throughout the day and it has zero negative effects. If anything, I get positive effects on my gut from taking them.
How many meathead guys you think that be pounding whey all the time have issues with it? Have no idea.
Oh, well, they do now. If you're farting,
99%
if you're like getting the room to evacuate, that's not a good sign.
Yeah,
you might want to change your protein powder. That's not supposed to happen.
Yeah.
All right, today's giveaway, the new program, MAPS Bands, an advanced band-based workout program. You can win it for free. Here's how you can win. Leave a comment below this video in the first 24 hours that we drop it. Subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. Do all those things, and if you win, we'll let you know in the comment section. Now, everybody else, we're launching it now. It's a brand new program. So for a limited time, this is what you can do. You can get the program for only $67, and by doing so, we'll throw in 2 free ebooks. Here they are. Body weight training guide and quick meals for health and fitness. Okay, so you get those for free, plus a discounted price for the brand new MAPS Bands program. If you're interested, click on the link at the top of the description below. All right, back to the show. So you saw this too, Justin, this story about Andre the Giant?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Have you heard of this story?
No, I did. You guys were starting. I wanted you to wait till now.
Yes.
So
You know
I
the
could hear.
famous stories of Andre the Giant, how he's like all these crazy stories about him?
So he's 7'4", right? Is that right?
Yeah.
7'4", something like that?
500 pounds.
500 pounds. I mean, he's just a giant Goliath of a human being. He was sitting on this plane, and he was there with another wrestler, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's like another like famous wrestler. And normally he goes to the bathroom before he
'cause you
goes
can't
on
fit
the
in that
flight.
thing.
Because, like, come on, dude. Like, I don't even physically
can't-
know how this was possible.
I can't fit in there.
Yeah.
You know, I have to. I just brought this up to you guys last time we were
have to
flying.
turn your head sideways?
Yes, I have to turn. I have to sit. I have to stand all the way back. I have to turn my neck like this, and then I hope I fucking aim in the get in the
Why don't you
toilet.
sit like you always do?
Bro, I can't sit in that.
Well, hold on. Everybody thinks this is funny. Old episodes, Adam talks about this. I'm not trying to be funny. He never stands when he pees.
sitting
Whoa,
down.
whoa, whoa! You just totally took that way further than how it goes. I
not never?
absolutely stand when I pee.
At night.
99. It's at night, in the middle of the night. I said when I get in the
Oh,
at
okay. It's
2
only at
o'clock.
night.
What we heard was all the time.
By the way,
Hey, one time
that's
is too
exactly
much.
what this fucker heard.
One
from that.
time is too many
Adam
times.
sits all day. Wait a second, that is not true at all.
Hey, that's the
I have
funniest-
never sat
He's a
in the
squatty
daytime
peer.
to pee.
Hey,
okay?
doesn't that sound like a childhood
sit and peer.
Like a childhood insult? You sit when you pee.
Yeah, it does.
You're sit peer.
Hey, and by the way, I had tons of DMs after that a long time ago. Whenever we first talked about that, about other guys that do the same thing, and
They were just happy another dude did it. They could never tell anybody.
I actually think it's crazy you guys don't. That you literally get up at. But I don't know if you guys pee. I pee every night at least 2 or 3 times in the middle of the
Yeah.
night. It's a shitty part about my tiny little bladder. So I get up. I have to pee all the time. And you get up
I
at
don't-
2
I
in the
don't
morning.
really get up, so
I don't want to
that's
switch on a light to have to see anything.
Yeah.
And then I'm not going to piss all over the floor in
you
the
gotta
toilet.
go by sound,
Get a
bro.
little nightlight, dude.
You gotta go by sound.
dude.
You can hear where the stream is hitting. You know what I mean?
No. You know what?
Side,
You know
middle.
what you guys do by talking this shit like that? You do give up who it is that pisses all over the toilets in there. It's definitely
Well,
one of
these
you.
are lights
Definitely
are on
the
in
kids.
there.
Definitely the kids.
Yeah.
Lights are on in there.
Yeah.
It's not
I'm
dark.
just gonna say somebody's aim's not very good.
That's right.
Yeah.
For guys who talk a lot of shit about having great aim, there's someone's not aiming very well. There's only 4 of us that be pissing in them toilets. Well, now we got the boys over here, so maybe one of them.
Look at
but-
Andrew over there looking.
Sometimes you get multiple streams.
He's
I mean,
looking real
maybe
suspect
graphic
right
or
now.
anything.
Doug,
Anyway,
did you start sitting after?
No, I always did.
Oh, okay. So you
I'm-
admitted it already.
I'm not ashamed to admit that.
Yeah.
I'm not ashamed to admit the
Can
middle
we
of the
get some
night when
Me
the
either.
lights are off. I don't want to miss.
That's right.
You would. I know what you
And
and
not
Adam-
to mention-
No wonder you guys go on trips together without us.
And not to mention, you kind of can sleep. a
That's
little bit
right.
while
I
you're
closed
sitting
my.
there.
I literally
Yeah.
walked about with this. My eyes still closed.
Yeah,
I
me
feel,
too.
Feel the seat. I sit down, and then
I'm trying to maintain my sleep.
That me
all right?
too. I'm 100%.
Trying to concentrate on aiming in the dark. That's
weird.
gonna wake me up.
Weird to me.
I don't know.
You guys are more weird.
Suspect.
Doug and I. Andrew, where are you at on this?
Get him a skirt.
Don't be afraid to
weigh
admit
in
you
on
sit.
this, Andrew.
Don't be afraid to admit you sit,
on,
bro.
guy.
Come with it.
Tell the truth.
Are you one of
Listen,
them?
at night, it's a hack.
Ah!
Wow.
Wow.
That's the only time it's acceptable.
Wow.
That's the only time. I'm not sitting in the daytime.
I'm embarrassed.
Nobody sits in the daytime.
Yeah,
at peace.
yeah.
That's weird.
No.
I don't care.
That's weird. You ever-
There's not many things we could do these days. Okay.
Yeah.
Standing while you're peeing. is one of
Yeah.
them.
You guys' wives will appreciate it. You
Huh?
guys- I guarantee your wives will appreciate
I
it.
go outside and pee on trees, dude. That's my hack.
Fuck.
That's not a
damn,
bad
that's
hack
what I gotta
either.
do.
If I did live in the woods, I would actually walk out like on
Or
your
off
deck
my
and just
deck.
piss right off your deck. I would. I
Hold
100%
on a
would.
second.
I've been to your house, the way your house is laid out, and the
Wait,
way
you walk outside and
I
just
would-
off the deck?
all the time.
I would totally do that.
Wow.
Where he lives, it's
And I'm
perfect.
just like, yep.
You don't even have to hold anything.
Nobody's gonna do nothing.
Yeah, you just put your hands behind you.
Yeah, my domain.
See,
Yeah.
see, Adam, aren't
And
you
then a
jealous?
raccoon jumps on his wiener because it's really out in the middle of it. That's the one downfall is you
Just
have that.
sitting there waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. He grabs it.
That doesn't happen. You're crazy.
God damn it. That's
Sorry, finish your Andre
All right,
the Giant.
Andre the
story.
Giant.
Yeah, yeah. Anyways.
Sorry. Sidetrack there.
No
Yeah,
problem.
So he normally does his business before he gets on the plane. Anyway, the physics of all this, him sitting in there, he took a dump. It became like pandemonium, like chaos. Like people were like gagging, almost throwing up. Like everybody was like yelling, like audibly.
They almost had to do.
Oh God!
They almost
the
had to do
whole flight.
emergency landing
Yeah,
No way.
because of his dump.
because he pooed.
But I mean,
Well, you can only imagine what the
can
size of
only
that man,
imagine.
the
Like, I don't
size of
even
that
want-
man's,
Dude.
has got to be crazy.
It's like a
it's one of those like burns every nose hair you have.
I mean,
Did it not go down, or was this that bad?
the only details they say in this mythical story is that they were like almost had to do an emergency.
What are the
landing.
two of you reading that you both find that story yesterday?
That's a good
all
question.
that's interesting. I think
Yeah.
it was
All
like
that's
it was on a page.
Him and
yeah.
I like the same weird shit, so I think the algorithm.
I didn't even know he follows this page. It's just we find our way there.
Did you look it up, Doug? Is that what you're looking at?
Yeah,
Yeah. See, true story.
true story.
What's it say in
according
the
to this.
title? I can't read it from here.
Yeah, WWE legend Andre the Giant left fellow plane passengers gagging after taking the world's biggest poo.
The world's biggest poo.
This is relevant news. Also, too, I mean, there's just crazy stories about like mythical stories about how much beer he could consume.
Yeah.
Like just I want to.
Oh, I've heard some of those.
Find that out because it was like
No, it's crazy. It's
It's
like 30
cases and
beers at once.
cases.
No. It is. It's it was in the book, Bret Hart's book that I read. It was. I can't remember what the number, but it was something I was like, no way, that would kill like a normal person.
Did you know?
destroy somebody.
Hulk Hogan. There was a documentary, I think it was, where they were talking about Andre the Giant, and he was talking about how Hulk Hogan's a big dude. We're talking about another massive human, right? But
He's
obviously not at that
humongous.
level. He was wrestling with Andre, and he says if you pissed off Andre a little
Yeah,
bit,
yeah,
he would just hurt you on like. and-
Holy crap, look at that.
Yep.
119 12-ounce bottles in a 6-hour period.
wow,
119.
That's insane.
his liver is as big as Doug. That's why.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
got like Doug
probably.
inside his body.
So did you guys ever play when you guys were in high school? Did you guys ever play the Century game?
No, you told me about. That's terrible.
Oh yeah.
So
every-
okay, you do
a shot.
100 shots of beer
A minute?
every minute.
Yeah.
And
No. You do a shot every minute, not 100 in a minute.
You do a shot
yeah,
every
so I mean,
minute.
100
for-
shots. You do a
Okay, got
total
it.
of 100
60
shots.
minutes.
Got it.
One every minute.
Got it.
Okay, and basically what you used to make these cassette tapes, right? Dating myself, you make these cassette tapes that had an hour worth of music, and every time the song changed, you would take a shot of beer. And at first, you think like a shot of beer, like, and you're sitting there, you're like, this is lame, but I mean, you're smashed before you get to the 100,
Once
and that's
Paul
only
Abdul
100.
came on.
That's 100 ounces.
That's 100 ounces. This dude is doing what?
Wow. Wait, that's 119 12-ounce.
Yeah, do the
Yeah,
math
That's
on that.
1,000. So.
That's over 1,200
I mean,
ounces.
so that was some of the drunkest times I've ever been was doing that game. Wow. Many times we couldn't even finish the game. By like 80 something, I'm like, I'm done.
Doug, look
can't
up
do anymore.
that
Andre
was
the
a bad
Giant's dinners or meals. There was another story where he went out with a bunch of wrestlers, and he used to do this to mess with people. They would eat, and he would eat so much that people would he'd just freak out. Like there's look at this. Ready? One sitting. 12 steaks and 15 lobsters. One sitting.
Okay, so how much of this?
Now imagine him going on a plane
so how
and
much?
destroying it.
How much of this
after
do you
that.
think becomes kind of urban legend, and how much of it is like
Multiple people tell these
Yeah,
stories.
just verified like
Yeah.
by all kinds of people.
You know what
you
else?
can't literally do that.
there's video footage of him doing it.
There
is.
There's
Yeah.
video footage of him doing this as well. He would prank his friends they'd all hang out at a party. He'd go outside and he'd physically move someone's car somewhere else. So they come outside and thought their car was stolen. That's a crazy human being right there.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, I know.
What age did he die?
Well, look at his hand holding the beer right there. Scroll up, Doug. Look how
Look
big
at his hand over the guy's face.
Yeah, but look at that beer. It looks like a little kid's beer.
A little kid's beer. What's a little kid's beer look like?
You know, like play beer. I know. Looks like the one
Did they have that? They probably did have that like in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah,
like
beer for
little,
kids.
little beer cans
Little
for
kitchen
kids.
set, you know. Like,
It's got beer. Do you guys remember candy cigarettes? Do you guys ever get those?
Yeah.
Can you
can
believe that?
still get a hold of them some places.
You can, but they won't sell them to kids.
No, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. You can still get a
I
hold
don't
of them.
know. There's some places where they have those still, and they also have like little packets of like fake like joints. I swear, dude. Like I was at this like one place. I think it was,
Probably in Santa Cruz.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. I was like, this is so inappropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the play cigarette thing is funny to me
93.
now, looking back. Wow, look at that.
Yeah, well, that and Big League Chew, and I mean, they were like completely indoctrinating us to want to have tobacco.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
hilarious. All
Did
right.
it just say his shoe size was size 58?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't see that.
That's a shoe size?
Yeah. You see, he died real young because
46 years old. Yeah.
so when you have a condition like this, obviously your body grows.
Isn't it? It's the same.
58 was
Okay.
his shoe size.
Wow,
58?
Because Shaq
Yes.
has a 28, I believe.
Bro.
Wait a minute.
That's
Wait a
even-
minute. Hold on. I'm trying to picture a 58. What would
Way
that
more
look
You've
like?
never even seen a 58. The biggest you'll ever see in a shoe store is like 12 to 15. Like that's like the biggest they go to the
What
store.
is his foot? Wait, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Is that in European sizes or that's a
No,
crazy?
they gotta be
I have
American.
no idea.
I mean, Shaq, he said Shaq's in the 20s. I know Shaq is in the
I think
20s.
pretty
He's
sure
22.
Shaq is 22.
Oh,
22.
man. I was wrong.
Wow.
Bro, imagine that. You're double the size of Shaq.
Hey, you know what's funny about Shaq? I was reading, not reading, I was watching these clips, and the algorithm now shows me these arm wrestlers because I think it's cool. Anyway, there's this one guy, he's a champion arm wrestler. Levine, I think is his last name. Like he's famous in that space. Anyway, they asked him, what non-pro arm wrestler impressed you the most or something like that? He said Shaquille O'Neal. Because he goes and he arm wrestles celebrities, and he goes Shaquille O'Neal is one of the biggest, strongest arm wrestling people I've ever tangled with or whatever.
Oh, I think he's
a tank.
I think he was the most dominant basketball player we've ever seen ever. Dominant wise, like physically, like we can make arguments all day long about the GOAT stats and all that bullshit like that, but there's never been, still to this day, even the big dominant centers just were not like as dominant as he was.
It's wild
I mean,
to me
he changed the game. Like there became a strategy of just foul the guy. Teams would put, this is how crazy Shaq was in his era, and he became so dominant that teams obviously would strategize, like, how do we beat Shaq? Like, we can't stop him. Can we put two guys on him, doesn't. So you would put guys on your roster that, like, basically every team is only, I think 15 players is the most an NBA team can have. You would literally pay salaries to have guys on that, and their job was just to go in there and just foul him.
And just fell out.
Foul out.
Shaq.
Yeah,
the old
it was
Wow.
just foul out because our only chance was putting him on the free throw line because he was like a 50-50 shooter there. And so it's like he gets it underneath, it's a bucket, guaranteed. So it's like foul him, put him on the line.
Wow.
And then you would have to put people on your team because you couldn't have your best center or best player fouling out. So you'd have to sub other guys in just to foul. It's like,
That's
it was
wild.
crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Anyway, cool stuff. Adam, I want to ask you, because you and I are the only one. Justin has his on, although he didn't hook it up to his app. So it's basically just a ring that he has on his
Why are
finger.
you shaming me right now?
Yeah, we all wearing Oura rings and trying them out right now.
I'm just more of a fashionista.
yeah, no partnership or anything. I think they just sent us these to try out or whatever.
No, they don't, I wanted a partnership with them a long time ago, and it didn't work out. So, and I can't believe we're talking about them right now because they're not paying us to talk about them.
Well, no,
I'm still bitter about
Adam's salty
I
about
am
it.
salty about that. Shout out to Don Saladino though, because Don's got a
this is
connection
all
with
Don
them.
right here.
They did send them all to us for free, and I do honestly like. Okay, so how long has it been since you've had one of these?
oh, it's only been 4 days.
No. Did you have one before ever?
Oh, yeah, I never tried it though. I never. used
Okay,
it.
so the platform is just. I mean, I liked it way back when. So have you seen the new one?
I haven't yet. I have to set it up.
So it's really good.
It's wild.
It's
So-
really good.
So
Like
this
the-
isn't a commercial. So now we're making a commercial, Adam. This is
I
your
don't
fault.
mean to. Well, you brought up.
I was just gonna ask you about your sleep because I said, "How's your sleep?" and you said, "Crap."
It
based on
is.
your aura. What do you mean? What's it say?
So I actually pulled it up while you guys were talking right now because I hadn't uploaded this morning. This is my highest score ever yet since I've been wearing this for like 2 weeks now, and I scored an 84.
Oh, that's not bad.
Well, it's my first 84.
What were you always doing?
60 to 70 something.
Wow. Why is
Yeah.
your sleep so bad?
Because I get up and go to the bathroom, and then my wife keeps me up, so we don't. Yeah. I actually got mad at my Oura thing the other night. I said, I'm gonna have to start sleeping in the other room.
What? Wait, why?
She keeps me up. She wants to have marathon sex, and then my son comes in at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning a lot of times.
Nobody feels bad for you.
No, dude. Between the two of those things, I get like, and then I also get up and pee. So like I've been going to bed like at 8:39 just so I can get the 8 hours. That last night is the first time that I had a full 8. Normally I'm like 6 and 50 minutes.
Okay. I've only been at 6 and 30 so far, 6 hours, 30 minutes, but that's because the baby and all that, like last night, but I went to bed early, but my score is pretty good. I got a 82 one night, yesterday an 80, but not great, but not bad.
So I'll tell you what I like that I think, because it now has an HRV component to it.
So
right?
I don't understand that. I see my
Heart rate
number. I don't know what my
variability.
number means.
Oh, well, I mean, it's like 0 being bad, 100 being good. So whatever.
All the way up to 100?
Yeah.
Well, my number must suck then because I'm like in the teens.
What?
Yeah. I don't know. What's your number say? Let me see.
No, that's
Pull
not
it up.
right, bro.
Am I dying?
You're reading it wrong.
Maybe I got something.
Okay,
wrong.
so when it gives me this, what I like about this, and again, I know HRV, the science isn't completely there to be, and we talk about like just you've trying to figure out your own readiness through grip strength, things like that. I do think that's better, but where I think this is valuable is we are always talking about fitness people overreaching and training and not learning to like listen to your body. And
yes.
So I had 2 nights back to back of really bad sleep. And the day before I had trained really hard.
Now, were you connecting it to cravings and moods?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And so, the score was really low. And so it changed the way I trained that day. Like I decided, you know what, like if I wasn't getting the score, I probably wouldn't have really like thought back, oh yeah, like yesterday night.
To pay attention.
Yeah, to really pay attention. So I do like it for that.
Oh, that's the sleep score. I'm trying to find the HR. So this says HRV max is 36 mm. I don't know what that means. So it's not up to 100. Thank God.
I thought it was up to 100.
No.
It just says, so it tells you like.
So go to your readiness and look at your HRV.
Yeah, it'll tell you, it's readiness. That's what they call it, right?
Yeah, click on readiness.
So my readiness today is 84, which is the highest it's been because this
of sleep.
This is the best sleep I got, and I took the last 2 days off of training.
So my readiness today is 82. So I'm a little bit below you. This can be a nice competition, Adam. See what happens.
Well, I'm on this on a kick of actually trying to improve my readiness. That was my best one. So last night, I mean, this is a bad example because I've had this thing for over 2 weeks and I've never had that good of a score.
Have you tried to see how the butamorin affects your sleep score and your readiness?
Well, I'm not taking ibutamorin anymore.
Okay, that will be
taking a real growth hormone.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Well, there you go.
So
that would be a good measure of peptides.
Can I
for
take
sleep.
both of those together?
I wouldn't do that.
Okay.
Yeah,
so,
I wouldn't do that.
So don't do that.
I know. I would see you should be able to see an improvement in sleep with.
Well, what I am
certain
going to do,
peptides.
which is cool, is that we have products like Mellow and stuff like that. So I'm gonna play with that, even like our Ned products. Like, so now that I have this, first of all, it's like right now I just want to get consistent with it and measure like normal stuff, and then I'll start teasing out things that we talk about.
So here's what this leads me, right? So I've always been skeptical of tech for health and fitness because it has the potential, and I could see this happening with the average person, of taking someone out of their body. Not putting them in, but actually taking them further away from their body to where they depend on the tech to tell them what to do, and they don't connect it to behaviors and feelings. It's all about looking at the tech. What's it say? Okay. So I don't like that unless there's a coach there to help direct you that says, hey, your readiness said this. How do you feel? Did you notice any differences? Your sleep was lower here. Did you notice any differences? How was your memory? How was your appetite? How were your cravings? All that stuff. This is why, here is a partner that we do work with, NutriSense, is absolute total game changer when it comes to diet because they're monitoring your blood sugar in real time, but they're not just monitoring it. They're coaching you alongside it, helping you connect to ways you feel. This puts you in your body because this technology can either put you in or take you out. And if you're dependent on tech to tell you what to do, you're not going to be better off.
Well, that's the NutriSense thing is like, that's like a whole nother level because you have that coach.
Because it has the coach.
Because if you didn't have the coach there, to me, I find it just as, arbitrary as far as like getting a reading like that. Like, so I'm a fan of all this stuff because there was a time when I was into fitness, and we didn't have any of this stuff.
Yeah.
And we were guessing and trying to figure stuff out. So I know there's people that harp on the body fat testing, the Oura Rings, and the Fitbits and the glucose monitors. Oh, they're not 100% accurate, and they try and shit on the percentage. It's like, dude, the fact that you have some sort of digital feedback to give you more insight on what's going on with your body, I think is incredible.
But you got to connect it to what's happening in the real world, because then eventually you don't need the tech. Now you know, you feel it, you can see it. It actually helps you. So like with NutriSense, if you work with them, you don't just get a CGM, you get a nutrition coach that works with you on a regular basis, that works with that.
No, I remember when I was
changer.
wearing mine, how cool it was to have a random spike, and then all of a sudden I'd get it in the morning. I'd wake up to a text message.
Yeah.
That was like, hey, how did you sleep last night? What did you eat? And they're asking me questions to help me better connect why I probably had a spike like that, where Oura doesn't do that.
In combination with like elimination diet, like which I've been using, and two, until I can really repair and heal the gut. I know now that that's going to take a while to do. Like I start reducing it down to like just a few items that I'm eating. But yeah, like going through that and then also having somebody coaching you through that would be way more effective.
Oh man.
Did you get your BPC yet?
No, I didn't get it yet.
Okay. You haven't ordered yet.
No,
mine should be here
So for
today.
the gut, you got to get you order the one I have, right? KPV,
the oral,
BPC,
the
oral
combo.
Yeah. So today's day 4 for me on it.
How you feeling?
I don't know if I noticed anything yet, so I'm gonna let you guys know. But again, the anecdotes that I'm reading are crazy on those 2 peptides for gut health, for inflammation, and just overall healing.
Dude, that's my biggest mission this year, dude. I need to figure this out.
You will,
because it's just been months, and it ramped way up to the point where I was just like, again, the sleep, like everything was getting affected, and it was just this vicious cycle.
That's so weird to me because I mean, you tell me. I would think that we're at probably one of the least stressful times in your life. I feel like things are pretty. I mean,
yeah, I don't think it's necessarily just like stress. I mean, all that does heighten or like get it to ramp up, but. I mean, and I just honestly, that's only like in waves, and it's not even real like crazy like survival stress. It's like more just like, oh my God, all these things. But really, I don't know. It's if I'm more sensitive now to like food, I'm just more aware of like how it affects me, and then it sort of like perpetuates it even further.
So you can just get an infection that can cause it, and then it'll linger and cause dysbiosis. And if it doesn't get addressed, it can get worse and worse and worse.
Yeah,
so there's a lot of things that can.
Something's exaggerating.
Yeah, and then but once you fix it, and if you do it right, you're good. You should be good.
Yeah.
It'll be reoccurring though if you don't do the aftercare type of thing.
Yeah, because I've gone through and like I've done like some of the protocols to kind of cut back at overgrowth and had some good success with that, but then it just came right back.
Yeah.
Did you guys see Martha Stewart?
Where on the swimsuit?
Yes, you did see it.
Yeah.
What happened?
She's on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Swimsuit. Oldest
Stewart?
swimsuit model ever.
81? 82?
Yes.
No.
Yes, pull it up, Doug, for Justin.
Yeah. I don't know if their target market's dudes anymore, is it?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
They've definitely like
They also just
straight away.
They also did
transgender just recently too, right?
A transgender
Maybe
female
dudes, but not straight dudes anymore.
I don't know. I don't think it's just. I don't think it's the same market. I think the magazine is. I mean, they don't sell like what they used to at all.
Okay,
right?
so this is my theory on that.
I will say this though: if that's not
she's great
airbrushed,
for her age.
hold on a second. If that's not airbrushed,
Yeah, of course
she
it
looks
is.
amazing.
Of course,
Yeah.
it's airbrush.
It's gotta be,
bro.
right?
I don't think it. Okay, so let's speculate on your point you're making right now. Like, who's their market and that. I think we're in an era now where like a company like this, instead of like trying to go after your core demographic, you're almost better off just getting
attention.
Yeah,
I agree.
Just alarmist,
I
like
agree.
doing things that are so. That's the only thing that makes sense to me with Bud Light, Gillette, Sports Illustrated, all these companies is that, and even what I wonder like Gillette, like they took a big beating, but then did it eventually come back? And if you get, exponentially more eyeballs on your business,
I don't know if it's the same strategy because Sports Illustrated, I don't think they make a ton of money with their magazine. So that's different. Bud Light got killed. 30% drop in sales. And Anheuser-Busch overall is now
Bleeding
starting
money.
to. Gillette got crushed too. They lost a huge
Yeah, okay,
market share.
initially though, but what happens after a while? Like, do you think that maybe what ends up happening is there's this initial like
You're going to recruit billions?
pissed? I don't know. Well, not billions. That's a big number. I mean, but
Well, how much
millions
Less
maybe.
Bud Light.
Bud Light lost billions.
Billions.
Bro. Yeah.
No, of dollars. But that's probably millions of people that aren't buying.
Oh,
right?
I see what you're saying.
So that's not like billions of people.
I don't know, but Sports Illustrated, nobody buys the magazine anymore because nobody buys magazines. So I don't think that's a big source of revenue for them. But using the magazine to gain attention, that kind of makes sense. For whatever, where do they make money now? Sports Illustrated.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't
Probably have
know.
an online presence.
It's got to
They,
be that,
I don't
right?
even think they do
Subscription?
the magazine anymore. I don't think they actually. I think it's all online.
Oh, really? I don't know.
So it's like, it looks like it's a magazine, but
Yeah,
it's not.
Google Doug for us since you
Okay.
have the access to the computer.
Well, I know.
I'm
Martha
checking other
Stewart,
things, but we'll do
Yeah,
that.
She made her big comeback on.
I'm checking
Andrew,
Gillette and seeing
come
what
on.
happened, but
What was it?
Well, tell-
It was you know, the roasts. Like they used to do these roasts on Comedy Central.
Yeah.
and she was part of that with Snoop Dogg, and then
Yeah.
that whole thing, like they had really good chemistry between the two of them, and it was funny. And then they started doing business together a lot, and then it just seemed like she just exploded after all that.
Yeah. So a source familiar with the Maven, that's not, is that the owner of Sports Illustrated?
Currently, approximately
This is on
60% of the revenue earned
Illustrated
from
Journey.
Sports Illustrated editorial operations comes from subscription.
40% comes from
it
advertising.
looks like it's still published.
It
Oh, it
is,
is.
but
Oh,
that
okay,
number's
well.
got to be way less than it used to. Like in the 90s, their magazine was.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
for
I feel like
sure.
the only place you buy magazines is at the airport now. Like it's the
That's a
only
good
place
point.
I've ever even seen.
Yep.
it. Yeah.
That's got to be. Where else do you get them?
I have no
Barnes
idea.
and Noble.
Yeah, I know,
Those
but
exist?
who reads them? Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I was reading something interesting yesterday about kids, which is kind of cool. That little kids, do you know when they ask little kids, by the way, I don't know how they do these surveys, but when they ask little kids, when do they feel most loved? You guys want to guess what they say?
When do they feel when? Like in the
Yeah, when
day
do you
or
feel
when in
most loved?
general?
When do you feel the most loved by mom and dad?
When
paying
they feed them?
attention.
You say feed them, and pay attention is kind of general, but
Yeah, well, I mean,
it's actually very simple.
Feed them or
hugging
play with
them?
them?
No, it's not hugging them. It's not feeding them. It's when you play with them.
Oh, play.
Oh,
yeah,
play,
okay,
yeah.
so-
Play with them.
So, you know, it's a cool thing
So
that
playing with your kids when they're little is one of the most important things you could do with your
Yeah.
kid. It's not hugs and kisses. That's all important too. Just playing with them.
That makes
you
That's
know,
their own words.
You know, it's hilarious when they do at the school now. So Max hasn't done it yet. His best friend has done it, and I can't wait for him. And Katrina's already been kind of playing with him they ask, like, you know, my son is like barely like really talking, right? And starting to put sentences together, stuff like that. So his ability to like really articulate. So they ask, like, you know, what is your favorite thing about daddy? What's your favorite color? Or like, what does daddy like to do? What's mommy's favorite food? Like all these like really and so to hear him answer like the way he answered,
What did he say?
yeah. Oh, I mean, like, what does daddy do really well? Like I play really well. Like that was like his.
Oh, that's a great
That's what made
answer.
me think of that. Was you just said that, like, what do I do really well? It's like play, and I can't remember. Oh, he thinks my favorite color is blue, and I think it was just because I was wearing blue that day. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
so cute.
So like how the way their mind works at that age, you know, and then you ask him like those questions to see what they piece together.
That is so cute.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
when he actually does it, I'll bring it in so we can read it.
When Aurelius was younger and he was just learning words, I remember I'd be like, "What does the cow say? What do the dogs say?" And then I don't know. I thought it was funny. I'm like, "What does Mama say?" And he goes, "No, no, no, no." We're all cracking up, you know.
So you know, since we brought up the kids, I actually did want to share something because I want to share things that I think are challenging when I can share with the audience that we go through. So you know that I've been really good with like iPad stuff and things like that.
Yeah.
We've really got a good handle on that. So he's now at the age where he can like play like legitimate kind of games, right? And so, and I introduced him to this. It was like one of our trips flying somewhere, and I introduced him to Angry Birds. And I mean, he couldn't even like do it when I first showed him just like 6 months ago, and now he's like can totally play the game. And Katrina and I just had a conversation the other night about, I brought it up, said, hey, I really want to, and I know it's going to be difficult, but I'd like to just completely eliminate it for a little while because I don't want him to get in the habit of like it's something that he can go to. Now we have like an allotted amount of time that we allow him to play on the iPad in the daytime, right? So or throughout the entire day. So he gets about a 30-minute to an hour window right before dinner time, and that's kind of his only time that we even allow it. And that's only if we're just happen to be in home and we're not really doing much, and it's like, okay, and he asked for it, okay, we'll let him do it. Otherwise, we're trying to play and ignore it and not be there. Well, ever since we've introduced this game, like he thinks about it all the time. Like he wakes up and he'll ask Katrina, like, can I play Angry Birds? And then she's like, no, son, we don't play iPad in the morning time like that. And he's good. Like he doesn't throw a fit about it. He doesn't make a big deal about it. But the fact that he's like waking up, thinking about it.
So that's why you're going to.
And he's asking multiple times a day. I'm like, oh, hell no. And she's allowed him to play it during that time. And we've been good about a lot of time. That's all fine. But I can already see the draw to it. It's so much more powerful than anything else. Like he has all these like educational games and things that we've always allowed him.
Nothing comes close.
Nothing is like a game that like was made
the most entertaining, immersive thing that they know.
My God.
It's also this. So
it's a very powerful thing.
There wasn't a lot of data with this in the past, but now you can read the data and the challenge. Well, the challenge, the bad thing about these games and screen time and all that stuff is that besides the dangers of what's on the internet and all that stuff, the real issue is children don't learn how to self-regulate as well. Because what happens is if they're stressed or upset or whatever, they go to the TV, the screen, the phone, the iPad, and then that becomes their co-regulating method. So they never learn ways to regulate. This is why you'll take a kid who's like on it all the time, you pull it away, and they freak out because they lose those skills. So they say, now what you see what experts are saying is if they're going to watch TV or anything, to make it, the way you make it less, damaging is number one,
interactive.
Don't hand it to them when they need, like if they're crying or whatever, don't give it to them. That's like a surefire way to be like, this is how you regulate. So don't give it to them for that. But if they're on it, to do it with them, because then it becomes like interactive game.
Yeah, I mean, that's how we use it right now, right? But I still I don't even like the fact that he's thinking about it when he doesn't have it. Like that bothers me. Like it's like if it's not even in front of you and you're asking about it, like that just shows me the power of the pool that it has.
Jessica does the same thing. If Aurelius asks for the TV too often, she's like, we're not watching TV.
Yeah, so we did. So yesterday the last 2 days, it was, and you said like the first day, you should see how sad he was. He was like sad. Like she was like, we lied to him and said that the iPad isn't charged. She goes, it's not charged, got charged. And then he was asking like every hour, so like that, did Angry Birds charge? And like, no, son, it's going to take all day. It's not going to be ready today. Sorry, tomorrow. Like we put it off like that. But you could see the I've not seen that yet in him in anything else. All the other things that we've allowed him to do, nothing has ever got him to where he wakes up and he asks about it like that. And I think to myself, wow, the amount that we already titrate this, the minimal amount he gets to use this, and I feel like we've done a really good job around it. I can already see that pool. I'm like,
crazy, right?
No, we're taking some time.
So we watched this we watched this the psychologist explain how to talk about things like treats and screen time and stuff like that. And she said to use the phrase like for treats, those are sometimes foods. These are all the times foods. Or the TV, that's a sometimes activity. Outside is an all the time activity. And initially it's hard because your kid's like, I want to do sometime thing. I want a sometime thing. And you got to keep, but eventually they understand that, it's a sometime thing. We can't do this very often.
I mean, the biggest key to me that at least that I'm learning or the phase that I'm at is that what I can do, even if he's like momentarily sad, if I actively get up and engage him in something else,
then he's fine.
Yeah. And so, and I get it like with parents, because it was a day where I didn't want to. I was tired I was kind of like, I just wanted to lay around and relax and stuff like that and get the greatest night's sleep the night before. And so I didn't want to. I didn't want to get up and go physically get him outside and go do something like that. I actually wanted to put my feet up for a little bit. And I thought, no, I've got to right now. And so it takes a lot of discipline on our part as parents in those moments when you know what's best for them is, and it may suck for you to go do that at that moment, is to do that. And it just took that little bit of time of engaging him in something else. And then he's completely interested in the play that we're doing.
Especially after what I said about how kids say that play is when they feel the most loved. Now think of that every time they want to play with you and you're tired.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm going to show my kid.
Yeah.
I love them.
Well, speaking of play, and this isn't the type of play you're talking about, but so Everett had his first big role in this play at school. And so that's where I was this morning, coming in and like donating some clothes and stuff for the kids to kind of wear.
Oh, that's great.
And, like do on stage. And he was like super excited about this because he was like, he's one of those, what do you call the crier, like the person that's like, hey, here you come, like check out what. So they're doing this whole play on like the gold rush and all that for like California, and so he was like this sort of like newspaper guy that does sort of the narration through the thing, and so he really wanted me to be there, and I'm like, okay, dude, I'm gonna make this work. And so I was sitting there, and it comes to his part, like they do all these songs and all this stuff, and then he's up there and he's so like too pumped, you know, like he knew I was there, and so I know that like that was gonna kind of screw him up a bit, and I was like trying to like, you know, okay, you know, I'll be there, just, you know, relax, like you got this.
Is he just hyped up there? Like
so
really?
hyped, dude. And like it's so he's the one doing all the hand gestures and like, you know, like just taking over the stage. And he got so into it, he forgot his line. He's like, "Oh no, I totally forgot my line." You know, it's just like verbally, like just announced.
He did that.
Like, everyone
that's
is
so great, though.
I was like, so
what a move
again. Yeah,
what a move.
He sat in his bomb like a champion, and that's what made me like so proud. I was just like, oh wow, he can take on that uncomfortable in front of people. Like way better than I ever
Such a
could.
skill, bro.
That's because he's got you as a dad.
So
That's
I was
why.
so pumped. Dude.
Do you get emotional watching him do stuff like that?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I was like, it just kind of like just because it's the same school I went through too, and then to see him on the stage that I was like, you know, I did stuff like that, but like he
That's
killed
so
it.
awesome.
Even though he didn't like deliver the perfect lines or whatever, he totally killed it.
Bro,
Like,
that's even,
everybody was
that's
paying
even
attention to
better.
it.
That's even better.
That's
to me.
character
Yeah,
right
yeah,
there.
That's
Yeah.
even better that he can hit adversity like that
Exactly.
and roll with it.
You almost want that for your kid, where they have
for
to,
sure.
Yeah.
I'd actually think I would rather see my kid so
Like,
bad.
screw up,
yeah,
but then-
fuck up,
Yeah.
Right.
and then take it on the chin
Totally.
and like still laugh it off and be good about. Versus him, one either crushing it, being perfect because he studied it so hard and never didn't miss anything, or him bomb and then be devastated because he bombed,
which is also a learning opportunity.
Yeah. Right.
But he took it. I mean, that's
Yeah, he was totally
Great
laughing
character.
with it, and the teacher's throwing him his lines. He's like, "Oh yeah," you know.
That's
And
awesome.
He just went for
that's
it.
awesome. I got a success story for you guys, by the way, on one of our staff's members,
Okay.
Kyle. So Kyle, who's one of our editors, by the way, this dude is, he works out. He's been lifting for a long time, jacked or whatever. When we did MAPS Anabolic Advanced, I asked him to follow it because I wanted to see how he would respond. Being advanced already, working out for a while, he's not a beginner. He did DEXA scan before and after. Guess what happened? Now remember, all natural. He's already jacked, so we're not talking about a beginner. Somebody's
He told
already
me
big
he
and
was
strong.
getting real strong.
Yeah, dude. He gained. This is all at the same time. DEXA scan gained 3 pounds of lean body mass, lost 4 pounds of body fat at the same time.
Oh wow,
At his level. At his level.
wow,
Pretty good, right?
that's excellent.
That's
He said
awesome.
that was the most, probably the best gains he's ever got. He said was anabolic
with a
advanced.
single program like
Yeah.
that.
So I mean, yeah. So now we're, obviously we're having him test some other
rad.
stuff now. Yeah, isn't that great?
Yeah.
That's huge gains. dude.
Speaking of other really cool stuff, I'm super pumped and proud of what Justin just launched. I thought,
Oh, dude.
we were completely
Killed
disconnected from this. This has been all Justin managing this, but we've been trying to work on a subscription model on Instagram, basically to service a lot of the Instagram people that we have on there that maybe don't have a program yet, or maybe you do have a program, but then you want to test drive different stuff. And so Justin has created this subscription model, which every week a new basically workout routine.
You get a new workout every week, and it's super low barrier to enter.
Yeah.
It's under $5 a month.
Yeah, it's $4.99 a month to get in there. And I do foresee, that's what you get guaranteed. I do foresee us doing other cool stuff on there for the subscription. And it's, we haven't even, this isn't right now officially
We're just
kind of
scratching
launching
the
it.
surface. Yeah.
Yeah, but I had no idea what it was going to look like. I got onto it last night and then actually went through it this morning and was super impressed with how it looks and the potential that
Yeah,
it
it's like
has.
shoulder workouts and glute workout. Like, so every week you get a new workout, right? That's the
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah. Just simple workouts to start. We're going to sort of introduce people to MAPS programs through this. So I'll be able to do like a full workout, towards the latter part. But this is too also for just like friends, family, and people that are like have no idea, because MAPS programs are very robust, very comprehensive, very effective. But sometimes you just need a more simple introduction, and so
just follow along.
Yeah, just follow this. Like, here's a workout for today. Here, just go apply this right now in the gym, and that was sort of the motivation.
And to sign up, you go to the Instagram page, Mind Pump Media, and then you
Mind
just-
Pump Media, and you
subscribe
do
there.
subscription.
And done deal. And then it's all set.
Yeah, you also get this cool little. I didn't know how this thing worked until I did this, but you get like this little crown thing next to you. So then we will know when
You're a
people
subscriber.
interact with us that you're subscribed. So I can already see like doing some cool stuff when I do like
in there.
when I do like live stories or do things like that on the Instagram page. If I see something like that, maybe let that person
special deals just
come in and do stuff. So we'll see what it involves into. At the bare minimum, you're gonna get these cool workouts, I think, every week, which I think that's the value of that in itself is worth the subscription. And then we'll see what everybody enjoys from it and we'll add to it.
All right. So do you guys want to hear some like good and bad, I don't know, for lack of a better term, good and bad news coming out of the scientific community?
Well, I guess.
All right. So
Or yes.
So here's where you know why it's bad, because it comes from the World Health Organization.
They're super trustworthy.
Yeah. That's why I'm like, whatever, dude. Here's the good part. They're saying what we've been saying now for a long time. They're telling people to avoid artificial sweeteners. So the World Health Organization just came out and said to avoid non-nutritive sweeteners or artificial sweeteners.
So why are they saying that?
Lane Norton's head exploding.
They did, and he's pissed, right? He's doing posts. He's like, "There's 0 human studies that show this. There's whatever." They're saying because
see him like,
I guess it's potential for some negative type stuff. Now, here's why it's bad news. The World Health Organization lost all credibility with their approach with COVID, and they definitely, their policies cause more problems. The data now is very clear. That their policies of lockdowns and all that stuff was just it caused more problems. So I don't like to listen to them, but I've always been saying don't eat artificial sweeteners. So there you go.
So is Lane already making videos to?
Oh yeah. He did a whole thing on Twitter, kind of taking him down.
I love my boy, but I don't know why he doubled down. Why he's doubling down?
Because he wants to see clear data that shows.
I know, and I guess the cool thing about Lane, what I do know, is that
he'll change his mind.
He will, yeah. So if and when if it comes out to where it's
definitive, then
he will. He'll come out and hey, listen, like now, and that's how he'll position is like, listen, now we have the science to prove this, and therefore I'm not for it now or what like that. But until then, he's gonna.
Yeah. We've never supported it, not because of like the dangers or whatever, mainly because of the behavioral effects and how it's not a solution, except for maybe people who track meticulously and compete, in which case they can replace calories. But otherwise, I've never in my life worked with a normal person where that was like the game changer. Right. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah, not for your normal people.
All right, so I have a shout out for someone. So this is not a fitness person, but probably one of the most talented young people in terms of commenting on commentary on social policy, politics. Very objective, very intelligent, not inflammatory, none of that, enraged politics crap. Smart young lady, super articulate. Her page is the Amala Ekpunobi. That's her name, Amala Ekpunobi. She's on PragerU, but she has her own page.
That's who that is.
She is I love her,
she
man.
breaks it down.
She's so objective, so smart. She doesn't she's not trying to just piss people off or, be divisive. I love people that present that way. The fact that she's so young and doing that is just, it blows me away. So if you want good objective commentary, even if you disagree with her, she won't piss you off because she's smart. And that she obviously does it in a way where it's great. Go check her out. Check this out. Do you want to benefit from cannabinoids? Cannabinoids are molecules found in the hemp plant, like CBD, for example, but there's lots of other cannabinoids. They can reduce inflammation, produce feelings of euphoria, improve creativity and innovative thinking, and just make you feel good. Well, there's a company called Ned that makes hemp oil that is very concentrated, very strong. I mean, you feel it when you take it. Go check it out. Go to helloned.com. That's HELLONED.com/Mind Pump. Use the code MindPump and get 15% off. All right, back to the show.
Our first caller is Logan from Utah.
Hey, Logan. What's happening, man? How can we help you?
No way. I can't believe that I'm talking to you guys right now. I'm so grateful. You guys have helped me so much with my fitness goals. I started listening to you about 3 years ago. And any question that I've ever had with fitness, you guys have always had an answer that's helped me so much. And it's to the point where anybody asks me questions or I talk about fitness with anybody and I'm telling them, you just got to check out Mind Pump. I don't know anything. You just got to look at Mind Pump. So thank you guys so much for all you do.
Appreciate that.
That's awesome, man.
So before I get into my question, I just wanted to give you a little bit of info about myself. I'm 26 years old. I weigh 185 pounds and I've been training for about 4 years. During the beginning of my fitness journey, I started doing just a lot of upper body, trying to build like the big chest and do bench press, overhead press, a lot of pull-ups and stuff. And then after listening to you guys, I started realizing the importance of lower body and started doing that. And I just slowly been bulking. I got up to 205 pounds and then realized that I had some imbalances. Like I had the rolling forward shoulder and arch spine. And so I got your guys' Prime program and started working with that, trying to address those things and work on mobility. And I've kept a good amount of my strength. I've lost a little bit, but now I'm back to like 185, 187 pounds right now. And I think that's a little bit between the work that I do and also just not eating as many meals as I need to, just to keep that muscle mass. And so now I'm working a job where it's the most demand I've ever had on my body, really physically. I work for a cabin company and we do basically the restoration. If you ever see like a cabin that gets really sun dried out and burned out, we have to remove all that dead wood with sanders and stuff. And so it's all day just with a sander on each log, every square inch of the whole cabin. And so I've lost like quite a bit of weight and a lot of strength since then. I was doing the MAPS aesthetic program. When I started, I had just finished phase 1. Things were going well. I was increasing my protein to 1 gram per pound of body weight. I was taking creatine. My strength gains were going up. I was slowly increasing. And then once I started this job, all that just stopped. And I really had to reduce my training volume. And I know in the past, you guys have talked about training twice a week when you have a really demanding job. So I switched my training to a full body on Saturdays and Mondays, just right before work. And then the rest of the day, I'll do the fortification sessions on the MAPS Prime program, just to really stretch out. I'll do like the pre-prime, the fortification session, and the post-prime foam rolling. And that really helps me just like stretch out after a long day of work. So I'm only doing this job temporarily for another month now. And then after that, I'm headed off to Italy, where I'm doing a study abroad with my university. And that's going to be 3 weeks, and I won't have access to a gym. So my question is, what can I do for the next 2 months to try and preserve the muscle mass that I have and not lose any more weight than I already have? And also work on the goals that I had with MAPS Aesthetic, trying to train my rear delts and my back, just to try to bring those up, because those have been lagging body parts for me for a while.
Yeah. So 2 ways you could go about this. First off, you got to keep your calories high if you're trying not to lose. Second, there's 2 ways you could do this. You could do MAPS Anabolic, the 2-day-a-week option. That'll work just fine. Or you could do MAPS 15, which is about 15 to 20 minutes a day, every single day. Either one of those is gonna be great for you. Now, depending on whichever one you do, you can just put a little bit of rear delt focus on each one. So MAPS Anabolic, you might do your rear delt exercise before your overhead presses, for example. Same thing with MAPS 15, but that's about it. You do that and you'll be okay.
Yeah, I like a lot of the stuff you're doing already. I think that to have the thought to go and take off, scale back on the days, to do the fortification sessions and the foam rolling with all your work. Like I think you made a lot of smart moves. I like MAPS 15 here, and then I like when you go off on vacation to transition to our new program. So we have a new program that's dropping on Sunday, Doug?
Yeah, Sunday.
On Sunday. So
actually, it was yesterday, so you can give it away right now.
Okay, that's why I thought that, right?
We're in a different.
That's why I was like, wonder why you were telling me that last time. Okay, yeah. So,
Sweet, you're our first guy. Let's
you're first person we can actually talk. Yeah, first person we can talk about this and drop. So we have a MAPS bands program, and it's an advanced bands program. So it's designed for someone like you who wants to build muscle, and all you need is a set of bands, so you can travel with it. So. That would be great while you're on vacation. So I would do MAPS 15 leading up to that with Sal's advice of, if you want a little bit of rear delt focus on the days when you're doing exercises for the upper body and stuff like that, start with some like maybe rear delt flies before you get into it, or add it to the workout, and then transitioning into the bands program for vacation.
Yeah, and the bands, this is not like a convenient band. This is like a hardcore band workout. So you'll get some gains out of it.
Yep.
Oh, that sounds so cool.
Yeah.
So, just like you said, to start the workout with the rear delt, because I know like I have the MAP shoulder mod, and that was calling for training them 3 times a week. And I know like focus sessions, they would it would increase your training volume of that specific shoulder. If I do 2 days a week, still leading with the rear delt exercise, is that enough volume, or should I do like a trigger session?
Yeah, keep in mind, we're also trying to balance with your work thing going on too, right? So if you were, so the question, our answer would be different if it's like, hey, have a normal job. I'm not, I'm saying that's not that intense. It's a normal 9-to-5 desk job or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm trying to build as big as rear delts as I want. What should I do? Okay, well, that's where we talk more about the shoulder mod and maybe a MAPS aesthetic type of training like you were doing before. But because of the challenge of you are burning so many calories, you have a strenuous type. Now we don't want to flirt with just because
throw volume.
Yeah, throw a ton of volume in there. So literally what I would do is run MAPS 15, and anytime a day calls for like an upper body workout, I would just start it with some like rear delt flies. And then you could do like when you do those fortification sessions and you do any sort of like priming or mobility work, you could do some like band pull aparts and do some rear flies with the rubber band, because that's not going to do as much damage, right? So you could add some frequency builders in there, or like trigger sessions that are focused just on some on delts throughout the week. That is not going to do a lot of damage and tax the body. But I would follow 15 the way it's laid out. Anytime it's upper body, I would do some rear delt flies in there. Anytime you have time for like trigger sessions throughout the week, I would just put emphasis on my shoulders. I think that for the type of work you're doing right now and what we're trying to accomplish is plenty for you right now to see good results.
Okay. Yeah, no, I can definitely do that.
Cool.
There's one more thing, if you guys have a minute.
Shoot,
Sure.
man.
With the work that I do, everything is in front of my body using my shoulders, so they're getting a lot of activation. It's not the rear delt. I mean, it's the forward delt, and like everything in front of me. But I'm wondering about muscle imbalances. When I've been doing the prime sessions, I've noticed zone 1 is extremely hard for me. That's the one that I focus on the most with my forward shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I've lost a lot of the traction that I've made in the past year working on that zone 1 just by working these 3 weeks. Everything's forward. It's harder to retract my shoulders back. So is there anything like, should I still do the priming movements that I've been doing to try and stop any imbalances from happening while I'm working?
You can just intentionally, like that same test, that zone 1 test where you do the wall press, if you can find a space like throughout your day at work and just continuously
Just do it.
press back and open that up and just
just for small breaks.
Yeah, it's just telling your body this is a priority. We're not going to prune, this off, and it's just a way to kind of like counter and balance a lot of that anterior type of movement that you're continuously doing.
You'll be surprised how effective that advice is. So some of the greatest mobility gains I made was when I worked for Orange Theory, and I had these. You would take the class and you'd tell people to go on a 2-minute run as hard as they could. And then for 2 minutes, I didn't have to coach or do anything. And I would get down and just do ankle mobility for like less than 2 minutes. Yeah. But I would do that so frequently.
Just one movement.
Yeah. So frequently throughout the day that I made tremendous gains in my ankle mobility just from constantly doing that. So what Justin's saying is like literally just every time you think about it, just go against the wall real quick and just get yourself in that position, do it for 30 seconds to a minute, and then go about your day, and just keep doing that all the time. You can't overdo that. You're trying to counter all the other stuff you're doing forward. And so just being mindful of it. And when you do it enough times like that, you could even do it like right now, sitting in your car. You know what it feels like to flatten the back against the wall, to, tuck your chin back right now. Nothing stops you from driving and just consciously thinking about it and activating all those muscles that put you in that better posture. Just doing that all the time as much as you can will help combat that.
Yeah, and also keep in mind, Logan, this is the first 3 weeks you've done with this job. It's going to feel worse because you're not used to it. So there's a lot of tightness and soreness that's coming from the fact that you just started this physical job that you didn't do before. So it's going to feel worse now than it will later on when your body acclimates.
Okay. Yeah, no, I definitely believe that. With just practicing movements like you guys are always telling, I've seen strength gains. I've seen everything just go so much better. So
Awesome.
I agree with that. Thank you guys so
You got
much.
it, man.
Cool, man.
All right,
Keep
level
joining
it
the
up.
new program.
Okay, appreciate it.
You got it. Yeah, one of the best pieces of advice for people with physical labor jobs, because usually physical labor jobs, you do repetitive movements, right? Either you're swinging something or you're shoveling. It's always like the same kind of stuff. And if you just counter that throughout the day, you'll notice better performance at work, not just better movement, less pain, but better performance at work as well, because those opposing muscles can activate and stabilize a little bit.
Yeah, if I just get extension, I mean, that's always my focus. Anymore sitting so much and being in traffic, and if I stand up, I get extension, or I hang, or I can like push my body through that and get that full open extension. It does wonders for me in terms of like avoiding pain and everything else.
Yeah, I think that people look at mobility a lot like they look at workouts a lot of times the wrong way, which is just that, you need to have these intense, hard type of workouts where it's like, oh, it's not worth anything unless I got, 20, 30 minutes that I put in effort into this. And it's like, man, I made my most gains in mobility, like just being aware of it and doing it for 10 seconds.
If you have a thought, just act.
Just do it. Yeah. Do it all day long like that. And then before you know, and then once you've done like some of the movements, and you guys know that you've trained and you've practiced those movements, you know what muscles to activate. I mean, I could tell you guys right now sitting there going like, hey, activate your traps right now, or activate like
you can.
And you can do it. And because you've practiced it so many times. And so that's the other benefit of you've been practicing. So you'll start to do it while you're working. So like say he's sandblasting, doing his thing, whatever on the, and then he's got like a minute where he gets to rest or whatever that. Instead of just standing there with poor posture, he retracts his shoulder, tucks his chin. And
if there's no walls, I didn't mention too, you can do it laying on the ground.
Yeah.
And do the same thing. So yeah, there's options there.
Caller is Andrea from Indiana.
Hi, Andrea. How can we help you?
Hi, guys. Thanks so much for taking my call. I really value your collective knowledge, your expertise. So I'm really excited to get your take on this, on my question. So if it's okay with you, I'll go ahead and ask it and then give you some context as to why I'm asking.
Okay.
All right. So I've heard you ask a lot of live listeners when gauging their progress, are you getting stronger? And so my question is, how do you measure that outside of just lifting heavier? I ask because I've been lifting weights for almost 30 years. I was a high school athlete, took a weightlifting class just to supplement my sport, and have been lifting ever since. I'm 43 years old now. I'm a certified personal trainer, CrossFit coach, yoga instructor. At the beginning of this year, after listening to a lot of what you guys say, I came to the realization that I've been under eating and overtraining for a long while. And with a lot of trepidation, I started reverse dieting about a month ago. During that time, I started and finished phase 2 of MAPS Aesthetics. But even with the slow increase in calories over those 4 weeks, I didn't really see an increase in how much I lifted and a majority of the movements. So I'm just wondering if it's a matter of not having that much more muscle or strength to gain because I've been doing it so long, or maybe I'm just doing something wrong.
Yeah, both. So, okay, at some point, strength is a wonderful metric. It's the best metric until it's not anymore. And when is it not anymore? When you've been doing it for a long time, you've been training for decades, you can only get so strong. Like you're not going to keep going up in weight. And in fact, at some point, trying to add weight to the bar, there's more risk than there's reward. If you're lifting a weight where your injury risk goes up, and you're like, oh, I got to add 5 pounds to that, and the risk it just becomes higher. So there's a few different ways to measure strength aside from weight on the bar. There's control, there's stability, there's better range of motion that you have control under. Yep. And then for someone like you with your experience, one of my favorite things is just to do new exercises that you're not good at and get better at them. This is one of my favorite things to do. So pick movements that you almost never do or don't do regularly and say, hey, can I get good at this exercise? And there's thousands of exercises to pick from. So there's always one that you're not doing a lot of and see if you can get better at it. Okay, I said both because I would have guessed that someone like you would jump into MAPS Aesthetic because you said you have a tendency to overtrain. Boom, you jump into MAPS Aesthetic. It's one of the highest volume programs we have.
High volume.
I think you'd be better off with MAPS Anabolic or MAPS Strong. Yeah. I think those two programs would be better for you than MAPS Aesthetic. MAPS Aesthetic is very high volume. To give you some context, I wouldn't follow MAPS Aesthetic and think unless everything was absolutely perfect in my life. And then I probably still would have to modify it. by lowering some of the volume. So I don't think that's the right program for you. I think an anabolic or a strong or a symmetry would be better. And then I think you would see
I don't even think
more
strong.
consistent
I feel like strong
progress.
is even a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think anabolic is the way to go, or symmetry. I think those two programs are better suited for her. And I do love the advice. So even though we're giving program advice and we encourage people to follow it as it's laid out, when you've been training for as long as you have, it is very difficult to see, these big leaps. So it's a lot of times when I measure, like when I consider, am I getting stronger right now? It's relative to what I've been doing over the last month or two, not necessarily my or else I'd be depressed all the time if I compared like my PR and deadlift, my PR and squat. Like I'm nowhere near any of those right now, but I am stronger today than I was just say 3 months ago relative to like my training volume and consistency. So, when you think of getting stronger, don't go like, well, I've actually technically been stronger than this in this lift. It's like, are you stronger today than you were just 2 weeks ago? You're getting stronger. Maybe you're not stronger than you've ever been, but you're moving in the right direction. So that's one thing to keep in mind. And then Sal, I'm just going to pile on Sal's advice of the new exercise. Like this is what has kept me consistent for over 20 years is constantly changing like ways to go after something new. It's just like, never really got good at a Turkish get up. I'm going to see how strong I can get in a Turkish get up and just make that a move. Or, wow, I never really did a Zercher deadlift or a squat before. Let's see how good I can get at this. And so pick, single leg deadlift. Like, how can I get good at this? Like, so pick an exercise and you will know better than anybody what probably brings value to your physique or your goals that you don't really do and get good at it.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, inevitably we kind of hit a wall, like training for this long. And I definitely went through that same kind of progression where it was like, well, what else can I do? Like I've maxed out my complete potential with bench and squat and deadlift. And for me, I really wanted to see if I could pursue like more strength with my bench press, but the limitation was my shoulder. And so what I found my way towards like Indian clubs, I found my way towards like these unconventional tools that worked a lot more on strengthening rotation. And that was like a big deficit that I didn't even know I had with my body and control. And once I really honed in on that, it was like a whole new world opened up of potential. So I don't know if you've really messed around with tools and things like that, or, really focused on the windmill, focused on, sharpening your movement, your technique, like, all of that in terms of like some of those unconventional moves like that were previously mentioned. But honestly, I think it'll surprise you what that will unlock in terms of then going back into your conventional lifts.
Are there any lifts that you don't do? I mean, of course there are, but are there any other top of mind lifts that you don't do regularly? Like, do you do Turkish get-ups regularly?
I don't know. I know what those are and I have done them and I'm not great at them. Also a lot of single leg stuff. I know in aesthetics there are like single leg presses. And those are probably the hardest thing for me to do. But even single leg RDLs are a challenge for me. So that would be something that
symmetry, 100%.
Map symmetry is it.
There you go, right there.
Yeah,
sure.
I mean it's almost all unilateral exercises. Yeah. And if you've identified that you're not good at that, you're going to get a lot of progress there.
It'll be enlightening for sure.
Cool.
All right. I think we'll send that over to you. Let's do that.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
You got it.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for calling in.
No problem.
This is the dilemma that advanced lifters get into, because at some point you're not going to hit PRs, and trying to chase a PR at some point becomes detrimental.
Yeah.
At some
it's
point,
not
it's just
like a super linear progression.
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
not.
I had this. This was I don't know if you want to call it a realization with myself. It's like, okay, I know what my PR was for this and that, but chasing that, is it going to give me any great results, and especially when I compare it to the risk, or in contrast to the risk that I'm gonna go through? No. So why am I doing it? And so I've moved my focus to other stuff, and I feel much better. So
I mean, I quickly got out of that because the likelihood that I'll ever be as strong and as fit looking as I was in my time of competing, because I don't think I'll ever be that neurotic about nutrition, training volume, and consistency. Like I just don't care enough or even want that. So if I try and compare my physique or compare my strength to that period of time, I'll just be depressed all the time. So instead it's like, hey, even though you get 20 years and it becomes harder to see massive strength things, there is always massive opportunity.
Yes.
Because we all will do something more than other things. And there's always, I mean, she pointed out already, single deadlift. So recently I've talked about how I strained my quad trying to figure out what was going on. And so that's now I can't be heavy deadlifting and squatting really right now. And so that pissed me off. I'm on this run and consistency right now. And I'm like, you know what? I really haven't addressed unilateral and stability stuff. And dude, I went to do single leg deadlifts with like 30-pound dumbbells, which is like nothing. And my stability was so off, it like blew my mind where I just was not that long ago when I was doing stuff where I was jumping up on one leg and doing like 100-pound dumbbells to see how wobbly and I was just and you're talking about someone I've done all that stuff a million times, but you easily lose that if you neglect it. And so there's always opportunity in your training to shift focus on something else.
Look like a newborn deer trying to walk.
That's what it did look like.
Yeah. Our next caller is Ashley from Pennsylvania.
Ashley, what's happening? How can we help you?
Hey guys, I'm super excited to be chatting with you. I've been listening since 2017 and it's been really cool to see how y'all have grown over time. I came for the fitness info, but have been thrilled to see how you've like evolved over time. Especially, I've loved hearing you talk about your class with Dr. Becky at Good Inside because I'm obsessed with her.
Oh, cool.
And my jaw hit the floor when you said you're doing EMDR because I don't know, just never thought I'd see that from y'all. It's just been really cool.
Do you do that for a living or something? Or why are you interested in that?
No, I did it a couple years ago for like a car accident that I was in. And I just needed to like get past that to actually be able to even drive again. And then I'm exploring doing it again for some of the same reasons that you're doing it. I'm a mom and I just want to be like the best mom that I can be. So same thing.
Awesome. Great. All right. Thanks. How can we help you?
Cool. So I'm trying to decide what level of program is the most appropriate for me. So in certain programs, like in MAPS Resistance and MAPS 15, there are different levels or tracks of the program. So for anybody that doesn't know what I'm talking about, in Resistance, there's a bodyweight track, a dumbbells track, and a full gym track. And in the bodyweight and dumbbells track, the exercises and workouts are the same throughout the phases. You just add sets as you progress through. But in the full gym version, the workouts are different in each phase. In MAPS 15, the normal version, the workouts repeat twice over the course of the week, but they're different every day in advanced. So my preference is to have a different workout every day or over the phases, just because I really like to switch it up. But I'm trying to decide if I'm ready for the more advanced version. So just for my specific situation, I started lifting consistently in 2015 and was super into my fitness from 2015 to 2020. I ended up taking most of 2020 off because I was pregnant and because of the pandemic. And then I was consistent for pretty much all of 2021 before taking most of 2022 off because I was pregnant again. So I started working out consistently again since February of this year. And I followed the like new mom recommendation. So I did starter and now I'm on phase 3 of Resistance doing the full gym version. I'm planning on doing MAPS 15 next, and I would prefer to do the advanced version. I also don't have a suspension trainer, so I feel like I'm doing the advanced version. But my concern is I have a lot of other stresses in my life, so I don't want to overdo it. I have a 2.5-year-old. I have 6-month-old twins. We aren't sleeping all the way right now. I'm also breastfeeding. I'm not tracking any food. I just try to eat a lot because I'm literally like starving all the time. And then I don't have a super stressful job, but I have a semi-stressful job. So I'm just trying to figure out like, how can I still see the benefits of doing the advanced version of MAPS 15 without overdoing it? Or should I maybe do something else next instead?
You're on point. You know why? Because a lot of people in your position would not be asking this question with a program like MAPS 15. They'd be something like, oh, can I do MAPS Aesthetic or something like that? You're 6 months postpartum with twins? Mm-hmm. Okay. We're
on the same baby schedule, Sal. So.
Yeah. No, I know what that, okay. So I think you're fine with MAPS 15. And here's what I'm going to say. I think you should get a suspension trainer. And I think you should gauge whether or not you do the suspension-based workout or the barbell-based workout based on the previous night's sleep and how you feel. Mm-hmm. Okay, so some days you could pick the advanced version, do some barbell exercises. Some days you could do the suspension-based workout because I was up 4 times last night and I'm not feeling very energetic and I'm kind of, fatigued. Then I would do the suspension version. I think that program would be ideal for you, especially because you've already been working out consistently. I think that'll be totally fine.
Yeah, I think it's a great question, but I think you're already on MAPS Advanced. 15 Advanced is, I think, going to be totally fine for you. And then another option, if you don't switch to the suspension trainer here and there, is just to scale back on the intensity. So if you felt like it was, oh man, last night was a rough night, baby was up and down all night and didn't get sleep in. So, you still follow the program, but just reduce the weight by 50%, just go do the movements, but just back off the intensity. So you can easily modify it that way based off of the ebb and flow of your sleep schedule and stress levels throughout the week. But absolutely think you're ready for MAPS 15 Advanced.
Yeah.
I think you'll be just fine doing that.
Ashley, you're breastfeeding the twins?
Yeah. So my son has latching issues, so I pump for him and I breastfeed her.
Okay, so that's a lot. So
I do everything.
I was just gonna say that's okay because you look fresh. You look like you're all good. I don't think people realize what you're doing. So you run down a typical evening for you. What time do you go to bed? How many times do you get up? And then what time is everybody up?
Yeah, so we put the kids down at basically between 7 and 8, we switch off. So I'm either doing the twins or my 2.5-year-old. And then just kind of chill, sometimes watch something with my husband until 9. And then I get ready for bed. I pump one more time, or power pump, if you know what that is.
I do.
It's pump a couple of times.
Yep.
And then my husband feeds the twins a bottle at 10 and I get in bed right at 10. It varies a lot when they're up, and sometimes the 2.5-year-old gets up occasionally too. The night before Mother's Day, my daughter slept all the way until 5:30 and I fed her at 5:30. So I got a really good chunk of sleep. But then sometimes she'll be up at 1:30, 3:30, and I typically only feed her once at night, but we'll be up getting them a few times. And I try to kick my husband and get him out of bed half the time, just because sometimes if I don't go in there, she'll go back to sleep.
Yeah.
But sometimes it just doesn't work out like that. And as soon as she peeps, you've said this before, Sal, with the mom thing,
Yep.
As soon as anybody peeps, I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah, a lot of people don't know this, but mom, especially postpartum, you're heightened for that. And so when you hear the sound, even if they go back to sleep, you've got stress hormones and catecholamines to keep you alert, and you can't just go back to sleep. Because I remember thinking that when the baby goes to sleep, go to sleep. And it's not that easy because you got to get your body to calm down at that point. So that's a lot on the body. So I'll go back to what I said. I think you should alternate and even take days off if you feel like you need them, because you are probably redlining right now as it is with minimum workouts. You're probably on a daily basis, you probably feel like, ooh, I'm already at the edge. So I would be very careful to not overdo it. And I would treat the workouts as recuperative. I wouldn't even try to chase progress, but rather, can I go through the movements? Can I feel good? Can I get good full ranges of motion? Because otherwise you'll probably hurt yourself or you'll start to overtrain your body. Now, after about a year, so you got 6 more months or so, this is usually when things start to become a little bit less crazy and hectic. Then you can kick it up a little bit, and then you're gonna kick ass. But I would definitely err on the side of less than more. So try to do less, not more, because that sleep is such a big factor, especially so consistently, that even the you could overtrain so easily because you're already at the edge.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts about sleep? I feel like is the one thing that you guys would normally be sleep more and then you'll feel less stressed. But I feel like I don't have that much control over it.
Yeah.
So
that's why you didn't hear that from us with you.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, we recognize that. I mean, it's a different situation. It's a different monster when you're
in a season.
2 newborns and a 2.5-year-old. We're all parents, so we all recognize that. We could sit here and give you advice all day. Hey, get 8 hours of sleep, you'll be just fine. It's right. Okay, come on. The likelihood of that is slim to none. So you got to modify other things.
The best advice that I've gotten so far personally is, are you getting out of the house every day on your own and get a little bit of time to yourself? That helps a lot.
Yeah, I try to at least take a walk every day. And then I do try to, a lot of times it is just me on my phone for 30 minutes in the evening. But even that is something.
But leaving the house and interacting with other adults, that makes a big difference for moms.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it feels very lonely. A lot of people don't know this, but being a mom with little ones is it's just you and the kids, and then your break is just you by yourself. So some of the advice we got was get out of the house, go interact with other adults, even if you're just walking around Target or going to the mall or whatever. do that. Try and do that a little bit every day. Some supplements can help. Ashwagandha is supposedly safe during breastfeeding. It helps the body deal with stress. Because you're nursing, I'm going to tell you to do your own research and see if that's something that you can take. That's something that we've used. And then just being very easy on yourself. Just being very easy on yourself, because you're running that red line right now. Your stress hormones are high just to keep you functioning at the moment. So pushing those even higher is not going to be beneficial.
I would try and do your best to prioritize time for you and your husband to like literally with like when the kids go down, like, so maybe when you would normally be on your phone, or maybe you guys would watch a show of just having like 30 minutes to an hour of like just you and the two of you talking. And whether you spark that with a table conversation game or what that, I found that for Katrina, just me able to hear where she's at, what she's going through, how her day was, that just that conversation of keeping us as a strong, tight unit and conversing on a regular basis. Because I do know how easily you can be like divide and conquer. You know what I'm saying? Like you guys,
then you don't see each other.
It's you guys are playing defense on 3 opponents. It's 3 against 2.
We're not man on man anymore.
Yeah, it's not man on man anymore, and you can really easily get into this like all you talk about is, hey, did you get the milk ready? And oh, did we go to get this? And so it becomes versus just how you doing, honey? And how's your day? And talking about our relationship. And when you talk about trying to manage stress and things like that, I really think that there's tremendous value in that. We found like the stroller walk, that was our like we would just go together instead of like her just doing it or me just doing it. It was like, let's go together, and we get a good hour talk like that. I found a lot of value in that. So if you don't already prioritize that, I think there's a lot of value in that too for managing stress.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then obviously you said, the next 6 months, I'm still kind of going to be in this air flight survival mode. I was planning on doing symmetry next. Do you think that that's okay? Or do you think I should do something different after? Sorry, I'm doing 15 and then I'm going to do something else.
Yeah.
I was thinking
symmetry would be great. I would wait till you're done breastfeeding. So how long do you plan on doing that?
I'm hoping to make it to a year, but we'll see.
Yeah. A lot of things change when you stop breastfeeding because your hormones are a little different while you're breastfeeding too. So in my experience training women postpartum, they would stop breastfeeding and then their body would start reacting like it used to, type of deal. So part of that's they probably got more sleep, and the other part of it is the hormone changes. So I would wait. And right now your goal with exercise is going to be recuperative, maintenance, keep myself healthy. Once you get past that kind of hump of what's going on, then it's okay. Now, how can I progress? And then at that point, map symmetry would be great. Do you have that, by the way?
I do. I have everything. I have everything except for Anabolic Advanced, basically.
Are you in the forum?
I'm pretty far out from doing that.
Are you in the forum?
I don't Facebook.
Okay. Oh, you don't Facebook. Okay.
That's healthy
Smart
too.
girl.
Yeah.
I used to Facebook, and then all the old people that I know got on it, and I'm done on there now.
Well, if you don't mind Facebooking, I don't know. You could it was a verb. If you don't mind Facebooking again, we'll put you in the forum. We can send you a link to it.
Either that, or let me give her the free program, the new program.
Oh, it's a surprise. Oh no, we could say it, huh?
Yeah, we can talk about it on this one, right? Yeah. So it's an all bands program. So it's
okay.
Which I think could actually complement where you're kind of at and where you'll be in the next year or so. So we'll have Doug hook you up with that.
Awesome. That sounds great.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Thanks for calling in, Ashley.
Thanks so much. I really appreciate you guys.
You got it. Yeah, it's funny. I have an infant and a 2-year-old, and then I hear twins and a 2.5-year-old. I'm like, oh my God. That
just stressed me out.
That's a zoo, at home. But I mean, at that point, your workouts are not, you're not trying to progress as much as you are trying to keep yourself healthy. That's really it. Because if you push it, you're already pushing it. Everything's pushing it.
Yeah, you got to take into account your environment and like what you can really like accomplish. And yeah, for the most part, it's really just staying healthy and like being energetic. That's like the 2 biggest things.
Yeah, I can't help but think like when we talk about health, we talk about it as total health, right? There's so many other parts of it. It's not always just like the physical aspect. And so if you accept that this is where I'm not going to be in my most physical prime, so it's more like what you said. It's like treat your workouts as more recovery and kind of maintaining and just being healthy as far as movement's concerned. And then honestly trying to prioritize other parts of that. That's why I kind of went the direction with the relationship, because I know when you get, I don't know from personal experience what it's like to have 3 kids. I can only imagine, but I know what it was like just playing defense with one, how easily you can get separated from your partner,
Like two
where
ships passing in the night.
yeah, it becomes more, you know, and there's nothing like the two good partners tend to work like that. Hey, now we're on a team. This is a hard time in our life. Let's conquer it. And before you know, it's like the stuff that you're only talking about is house, the dishes, the grocery
diapers.
shopping, the baby, diapers, milk. Like it's like, oh shit, when have we checked in with each other?
Yeah.
When was the last time that we talked about our personal needs or the things that we are happy with in our relationship or we're working on? And so, I mean, that's a part of health. And doing that, I think, will bleed into the other pursuits too.
Our next caller is Caitlin from Canada.
Hi, Caitlin. How can we help you?
I have a question and I'll read it to you. I wanted to say thank you first. I'm very excited to be here.
Thank you.
So I'll read you my question, and if you want to ask more questions, you're welcome to. So my question is, what should I be doing for warm-ups, cool downs, etc.? I feel like my warm-ups take a very long time, like 20, 25 minutes, and I hate doing them, mostly because it's kind of painful, if I'm going to be honest. And I tried MAPS Prime Pro because my boyfriend ran me through a session because I was debating if I was going to buy that or the MAPS 15. But I was just wondering, would that substitute my workout or would that be a warm up? And then what should I be doing to activate my glutes before lifting and running as like a warm up, I guess?
Okay.
There's more to this. We got to talk about the running and the knee pain and stuff too.
Yeah, I see that. Okay, so Prime Pro, those mobility movements or those connecting movements, you just do them on throughout the day. You don't have to do them as a workout. You can do them in a workout, but I would practice one or two of your favorite ones just throughout the day. You know, when you have a minute, you just get down on the floor, do a couple of them, come back up. As far as a warm-up is concerned.
By the way, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but on that point, for what I see in your question and what you like to do, and so that 90-90 and combat stretch is going to be the two huge
Those would probably be
ones.
two.
That would be like mandatory I would make you do, which are probably difficult.
Yeah.
Yes.
A good, a decent warm-up shouldn't take more than 10 to 15 minutes. So you could use MAPS Prime. And MAPS, if you don't have that, I'll send that to you. That one is designed specifically for a warm-up. Prime Pro is more correctional exercise you do on off days or throughout the day. You can also use Prime Pro as a warm-up by using some of the correctional exercises or movements that work for you. But 10 to 15 minutes should be plenty. As far as activating your glutes is concerned, any exercise that lets you feel the glutes but not exhaust them is a great way to activate, okay? But it gets more specific depending on the individual, but a good general answer would be like
floor bridges.
And you're not trying to exhaust them. You just want to feel them. You want to feel them and feel what it feels like to connect. Because then when you go on to do your big movements, you know how to move to get those glutes to fire.
Yes. Okay. And that's probably, I thought that might be related to why I was having a hard time with my hips and my knees, was because my glutes weren't activated when I was lifting and running. So yeah.
It's probably more to do with your ankles.
Usually. Okay.
Yeah, usually it has to do with ankles. When you squat down, do you have trouble squatting
for depth
with a good depth?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. If you come up on your heels, like if you come up off your toes, I bet you could squat all the way down a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so come up off my toes.
Not that I want you to do that.
Yeah.
That's just the sign that tells you that it's your ankles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you practice a squat, and you're like, ooh, it's hard to go down, but then you lift your heels, like you stand on like a couple 25-pound plates, and then you go down all the way. Then it's your ankles. Then work on ankle mobility, and it's usually ankle mobility that's the issue.
I honestly think that's why I said the 90-90 and the combat stretch. Live in those. That should be the way you start every workout routine. That should be how you always do that before you go on a run. If you're at home and you're watching Netflix, get down and do it on the floor. Make that this is how that doesn't mean that there might be other things that you should be also doing or that could help you. But when I have a client, especially when they openly will admit that, hey, I just dread these long ass warm-ups, I hear that, right? And I too don't like that. So I like to pick one or two things that I know is going to make an impact on that client and just drill that home. And instead of it becoming this daunting 20+ minute warm-up, it's these frequent, all the time, 1 or 2 minutes, just get down. 1 or 2 minutes, get down, do combat stretch. That's it. Be done with it. Okay. Go about your day. And then get down again and do 90-90 just for 2 minutes and be done with it. Go and just do it frequently, shorter, all the time, and you'll see tremendous benefit from that.
Yeah, the only other one, I know combat stretch can be difficult, especially if you have extreme ankle problems or, it's talking to you quite a bit. I don't know what we call it in one of our programs, but it's like an inchworm, right? So you're on your hands and you're feet and you're trying to pike your hips up as high as possible, the intention there is to really drive your heel to the ground, which is going to be very, very difficult for you. But if you isolate that too, you can go and progress it. So you kind of place more pressure on one foot versus the other and really just focus on that specific movement to then also get that connectivity going on your posterior chain, get your hamstrings involved in your glutes. And that's just another great one to throw in there.
I think we call it hand walkouts in the program.
Or is it the
it's
world's
like in
greatest stretch?
place basically, but hand walkout, inchworm, look for that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And how long do you typically hold those exercises for? Like about a minute, would you say?
What do you mean? Hold the position?
No, for
Yeah, like a
mobility,
90-90.
Oh, no.
So
like 5 second range.
5 seconds.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
get in it and you fire the muscles, connect, get into the position,
you're squeezing.
hold, squeeze everything for five seconds, then rest, and then repeat.
It should be difficult because you're squeezing intentionally, so it's not like a passive stretch at all.
If you go to primeprowebinar.com, I did a free 1 hour webinar.
Oh, yeah, he coaches you all the way through.
And I coach people through combat stretch and 90-90 in there. So you can literally see exactly how I'd want you to do it. And so,
awesome.
yeah, and I think that's the first 2 exercises I actually teach on there.
Yeah,
so
it is. It's one.
download that.
together.
You just got to, I think you got to put your email in and then we email it to you instantly right after that. So go on there, watch how I coach it, and then that's how I want you to do it.
Perfect. Thank you so much. That's awesome.
All
You
right.
got it, Caitlin.
Thank you. Have a good day, guys.
Thank
Have a
you.
good one.
Bye.
Yeah, good questions. It sounds like a lot of the questions we get with people who are just kind of getting into it and figuring out how they should get their body set up. It's funny because people, I mean, it's logical. If something hurts, then that's where the issue's coming from. But oftentimes that's not the case. Your knee and your hip pain oftentimes is not coming from problems with the hip and knee, but rather the ankles.
It's one of the reasons why when we get people that get Prime. So Prime Pro, like you said, is more correctional. So the idea of Prime Pro was that if somebody has chronic pain that they're dealing with somewhere in their body, that program is designed to help you get to the root cause of that. Because many times, if it's not an acute injury, it's chronic pain over time, it's somewhat of a mobility issue somewhere, a lack of mobility in one of the major joints. And so we address all the major joints and teach you how to test it on how good it is as far as the mobility, range of motion. And then we teach you exercises to improve that. And the one that we always get is, how come there's nothing for the knee? But you're not going to do any mobility drills specific
It's
for
so
knees.
affected by ankle and
That's
hips.
right. So if you have knee issues, it's 99% of the time it's ankle or hip related. So unless you have, again, some sort of acute injury or something going on where you've like worn down bone on bone, and that's why you have.
And a real quick and dirty assessment is those 3 points of contact. So if your big toe, your pinky toe, and then like basically the tongue of your shoe, that focus in terms of like when your heel's raised when you're walking versus like if I can get my heel all the way to the ground, just that quick. Like if I could just focus on what my body's doing and my feet in terms of grounding myself, like that's going to go a long way.
Yeah, look, check this out. If you want to follow some of our programs, but you want to start small, go to Mind Pump Media on Instagram. Check this out. For under $5 a month, you get workouts updated every single week. There's a MAPS workouts under $5 a month. It's Mind Pump Media on Instagram. Also, if you want to follow us on Instagram, Justin is at Mind Pump Justin. I'm at Mind Pump DeStefano, and Adam is at Mind Pump Adam. Today, we're going to teach you everything you need to know to build a strong, well-developed chest.
When I think of weak points and areas that I struggled with developing for a really long time, chest was up there with the
Yeah, it was for me. It was for me for sure. I got more caught up in the weight I could lift versus how I was developing my body.
I think it's one of the most challenging muscles to develop for most people because the form and technique.